is we find the standard penetration number n. So we know that the formula is going to be QPAP plus A FSAS, that is the static formula. In the static formula, we should substitute the values of small qp and fs. So we need that qp and fs formulas. For that, they have given formulas here. For driven piles, we have the qp formula as 40 n d by b or 400 n. Whichever is smaller, we will take that value for qp. And displacement, if it is a low displacement pile, it is 1 n bar. N bar is the average penetration number only. And for high displacement piles, it is 2 n bar. 2 into n bar. And if it is a bored pile, then it is going to be 14 n d by b. 14 n d by b, and fs is equal to 0.67 n bar. And next we have our static cone penetration test. In static cone penetration test, we get the value of cone resistance QC. So substituting the value of QC, the point resistance is equal to QP is equal to QC by 10 into dB by B. In everything, D is going to be the length of the piles and B is going to be the width or diameter of the piles. And we have frictional resistances. For dense sand, it is QC by 200. For loose sand, it is QC by 400. For silt, it is QC by 150. So these are the penetration test values. Okay. Now, we will see a problem based on that. A square concrete pile which has a size of 30 centimeter side, 10 meter long, is driven into coarse sand. It has a unit weight of 18.5 kilonewton per meter cube and standard penetration number is equal to 20. Determine the allowable load for which the factor of safety is equal to 3. Okay, so now we will see the problems. So since it is a driven pile, a pile is driven inside. So it is a driven pile. If it is a driven pile and the soil is sandy soil, so we are going to use, give me a second. Okay. When it is going to be sandy soil and it is a driven pile, we know that the formula for QP is, small QP is 40 N into D by B. 40 N into D by B. And and if it is or we have QP is equal to 400 into N, and whichever is smaller we will take that value for small QP. First we will see find the 40 N into D by B. N is standard penetration number. You know that N is standard penetration number. So standard penetration number value is given in the question 20. So 40 into 20 into D is length of the pile. It is also given 10 meter long. So 10 into 10 divided by B. B is the width of the pile. Width of the pile is 30 centimeters. So 30 centimeter in meters it is 0.3. So when you substitute everything, you get the value as 26,666 kilonewton per meter square. Next is 400 into N. 400 into 20, that is 8,000 kilonewton per meter square. Now we choose whichever is smaller. We choose the value whichever is smaller as friction. point resistance QP. So whichever is smaller is taken. The smallest is to 8,000. So 8,000 kilonewton per meter square is adapted as small QP. What is QP? QP is resistance. The point bearing resistance. Also we know frictional resistance Fs is equal to 2 into n bar, where 2 into 20. N bar is 20, which is 40. N bar is nothing but penetration number, standard SPT number, n value. 2 into 20, which is 40 kilonewton per meter square. So Qu is equal to just we know the static formula. Now substitute the everything in the static formula. What is the static formula? Qu is equal to QPAP plus FSAS. This is the general static formula. So substitute the static formula. Small QP is 8,000 and AP is the area of the pile. What area of the pile? Cross sectional area of the pile. So cross sectional area is, it's a square pile. So the cross section is going to be square and it is B square and 0.3 square, which is 0.3 into 0.3 plus Fs into AS. Fs is 40 and AS is perimeter area. Perimeter area of the square is, for a square pile, perimeter is 4B. 4 sides into B. That is the perimeter of a square into length. So it becomes perimeter area. So 4 into B into L. So 4 into 0.3 into 10, which will give you 1200 kilonewton. So we have found the ultimate load now. Now we have to find the allowable load. How to find allowable load? Just divide the ultimate load by factor of safety. 1200 divided by factor of safety is given as 3. So this will give you 400 kilonewton. Okay. This is not usually asked, but if they ask, no, this is same as static formula, but static formula we need to know the values of small qp and fs. For finding that, we have formulas related with the standard penetration number. So we substitute those things and we will find it. Okay. So fourth method, we are moving to the fourth method for finding the pile load capacity, and that is pile load test. It is one of the most we have learned about plate load test in the unit 2 for finding the bearing capacity, ultimate bearing capacity and settlement of the pile. Experimentally we conduct plate load test. Similarly, for a shallow foundation, similarly for a pile foundation, to find the load carrying capacity, இங்கே வந்து டைரெக்டாக we find the allowable load. To find the allowable load and the settlement cost in the pile, we conduct the experimental test, field test, that is pile load test. Okay. When you pile load test la வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, we have to set up the loading frame of the pile, we have two anchor piles, two anchors on the sides, like ரெண்டு தூண் மாதிரி இருக்கும், two pillars, there will be small anchor piles, and between the anchor piles we have the main pile which we are going to conduct the test, that is test pile. The test pile is installed between two anchor piles, and the distance between the anchor piles should be at least the distance between the test pile and the anchor pile should be between 3 times the size of the pile, or 2.5 meter. We should give some spaces. Next, load is applied through a hydraulic jack. Next we will apply the load. Can you see the picture? In the picture you can see two anchor piles on both sides of the test pile. In the middle we will have the test pile, and using the hydraulic jack, the load is applied from the top to the middle center pile. The anchor pile will not transfer any load, it will act like a frame. So it will act like a loading frame. Okay. And the loading வந்து nowadays we can give the hydraulic jack pressure. In olden days they gave the pressure by um, this sandbags. This is gravity loading. We'll give the sandbags above the test pile, so we will have that will give a gravity loading. Otherwise they gave reaction truss loads. It will give constant loads to the pile. Okay. um, okay, after setting everything up, we will fix the we can see two dial gauges. Can see two dial gauges placed on the both sides of the pile cap. Pile, above the pile we have pile cap, and the pile cap la we are going to apply the load, and in the pile cap we will keep two dial gauges to note the settlement. Okay, so we note the settlement by using this dial gauges. And if it is a sandy soil, we'll take the readings for 3 days. And if it is a clay soil, we'll take the readings for 1 month. Okay, for sandy soil, we take the readings for 3 days, and for clay soil, we take the readings of the test for 1 month, and it is little costly test also. And we will increase the load by 20 percentage of the allowable load. Okay, settlement is noted in the dial gauges. How should we note the settlement? We should note the settlement per hour. Per hour, what is the settlement? We should note it. And the settlement should not be more than 0.1 mm in an hour for sandy soils, and for clay soils it should not be more than 0.02 mm for a per hour for a clay soils. So we should see that uh, and the load is increased, and the time is observed for 0.51 first readings மட்டும் for 1 hour we take the readings first. அதுக்கப்புறம் with hours we will take the readings. um, and the settlements are observed at 0.5 minute, 1 minute, 2 minutes, like that. All the minutes the readings are noted down. Okay, so from this finally the uh, we will get the load settlement curve. So we have two types of settlement here. One is net settlement and another is gross settlement. What is the gross settlement? The total settlement. As I said, we will increase the load. As we increase the load, the settlement will also increase. You know that. So as the settlement increases, no, we will put the load till maximum load. எவ்வளோ எடுக்க முடியுமோ that much load we will give, and the settlement will be increasing. This is total settlement or gross settlement. After gross settlement, no, we will unload the loads given. Unload it. When you unload it, you will get the settlement getting reduced or settlement increase ஆயிட்டே இருக்கும். After you unload it, no, the soil will expand and there will be reduction in the settlement. Reverse readings you will be getting. So because of that we get a net settlement value, and that the total settlement is going to be the gross settlement plus elastic rebound. So when you are unloading, there is a rebound of the settlement. There is a rebounds of the settlement because the values will start அப்படியே increase ஆயிட்டே வரும், அப்புறம் it will start decreasing. Because of this there is a rebound of the values, reverse order values when you are unloading the test. So because of that you get a rebound value. When you add the rebound value with the gross settlement, you will get the total settlement of the pile. Okay, we are worried about graphical method only, so the graph will be like this. When you are loading, you see, you get the gross settlement curve. Loading curve and காமிச்சிருப்பாங்க solid linesல, that is gross settlement curve. As the load increases, settlement also increases. அப்புறம் you start unloading, no, when you are unloading, you will get the reverse order settlement. And what did I say? The reverse settlement decreasing line, that is going to be the rebound. That is going to be the rebound. So when you draw a net set, when you draw using the rebound values, when you draw the settlement, you get the value called net settlement, or in simple terms we get another curve called net settlement by subtracting the gross settlement by rebound. When you subtract the gross settlement values by rebound values, you will get the net settlement. So the net settlement curve is shown in the um, spotted lines, divided lines, it is shown there. So two settlements are there: gross settlement and net settlement. Gross settlement minus rebound values will give you the net settlement values. Okay, you can see this kind of curves can be observed in a load settlement curve. Sometimes the settlement increases in a very steep manner, and sometimes it increases very sharply, or a sudden reduction can be observed, or gradually there can be reduction depending upon the type of soil. If it is a clay, no, you can observe the second type of curve, and if it is sandy soil, you can observe the first curve. First curve you can observe. Okay. Okay, finally, from this curve, what is the, how will you find the, when you recall the plate load test load settlement curve, in the plate load test, the load settlement curve is obtained by drawing two tangents. One tangent from the upper part of the curve and another tangent from the down part of the curve, and the two tangents will meet at one point, and that is going to be ultimate bearing capacity. Here it is different. How to find, na? We will find allowable load here and QA, and how to find the allowable load is, the safe load or allowable load is one half of the load at which the total settlement is equal to 10% of the pile diameter. That, which means you have to find the B by 10. First we have to find B by 10. What is B? Size of the pile. If it is a square pile, it is going to be the width, and if it is a circular pile, B is going to be the diameter. So that value divided by 10, that when you put, you will get one value. For example, if the width of the pile is width of the pile is 10 mm. If the width of the pile is going to be 10 mm, then what will happen to the B by 10 value? B by 10 is equal to 10 by 10, and that is going to be 1 mm. 1 mm. Now 1 mm settlement, for 1 mm settlement, you go to the curve. In this curve, you should see, in this curve you should see what is 1 mm in the settlement. 1 mm க்கு corresponding on a load in the gross settlement curve. You should note from the curve. Okay, from the curve you should see the gross settlement க்கு corresponding on a, sorry, 1 mm க்கு corresponding on a gross settlement curve la you should find the load. So that load you take and multiply by 1 by 2, and that will give you allowable load by first method. Second method to find the allowable load is 2 by 3rd of the load in which the total settlement is 12 mm. For a 12 mm settlement, what is the gross load? That you should note it, and that you multiply by 2 by 3. That will also give you allowable load. And third method to find the allowable load is 6 mm corresponding on a net load. Net settlement curve la you should take the load and multiply by 2 by 3, and that will give you another load, safe load. So three methods to find safe load, and which is taken as correct answer. Now which of the three is very less, so we take it as the correct answer. Okay, so we will see a problem in it and you will understand it. Don't worry if you don't understand this, how to find the safe load. We'll do the problem in it, you'll understand it. Okay, when the settlement is Okay. Always the settlement, maximum settlement while you are conducting the plate load test should be 25 mm. 25 mm. This test is also known as initial test. Also, it is a load controlled test. That is when we are varying load, we are noting the values. So, load is gradually applied. So, it is a load control test and it is a slow test. When you conduct this test in a clay soil, it takes 3 months. So it is a slow maintained test. It is just different names. This pilot test. So you'll solve a problem, you'll understand it. A 30 centimeter pile of length 12 meter was subjected to a pile load test and the following results were obtained. So the load is given 0, 500, 1000, 1500, 2000, 2500. And the settlement during loading is also given in centimeters: 0, 0.85, 1.65, 2.55, 3.86. And settlement during unloading is also given in centimeters: 4, 4.6, 5.2, 5.5, 5.8 and 6. Determine the allowable load. Now they have given it is a diameter pile, 30 centimeter diameter pile, which is a circular pile, which is going to be a circular pile, and the length of the pile is going to be 12 meter. Length of the pile is going to be 12 meter. So you'll do the problem. So first you should draw a table like this, because we should find gross settlement, also net settlement. Loading unloading data is given. Now we know the load is 0, 500,000. That is the first row. Write it as such: 0, 500, 1000, 1500, 2000, 2500. Second is settlement during loading. What is settlement during loading? Total settlement. Total settlement answer. But here you should notice everything is in centimeter. That you should notice. So centimeter gross settlement as such you write is 0, 0 0.85, 1.65, 2.55, 3.806. That is given in the question. Then we know that net gross settlement minus rebound value is going to be what? Net settlement. So to find net settlement, we should find the rebound value. So how to find the rebound value? To find the rebound value, we will subtract the there is a formula for finding the rebound value. What is that? Initial settlement during unloading minus settlement during unloading. For example, if you see what is the settlement during unloading here, initial settlement during unloading 4. First of all, 4 load kudukadapave, it is when the load was 0, the settlement during unloading was 4. Okay, and when you increase the load to when you are 500, we are unloading 500. When you are unloading 500, what happens to the settlement? Settlement is 4.6. So the rebound is, for the first there is no rebound, so 4 minus 4, it is going to be 0. And what is the second rebound? 4.6 minus first value 4. So you should subtract that value minus the first value. First value is subtract. So 4.6 minus 4.6. Then 5.2 minus 4, 1.2. Then 5.5 minus 4, 1.5. Then 5.8 minus 4, 1.8. Then 6 minus 4, 2. So we should subtract the given unloading values with the first unloaded value settlement. So that will give you rebound. Now what is the net settlement? Net settlement is equal to gross settlement minus rebound. So 0 minus 0, 0. Then 0 0.85 minus 0.6, which is going to be 0.25. Then 1.65 minus 1.2, it is going to be 0.45. 2.55 minus 1.5, it is 1.05. Next is 3.8 minus 1.8, it is 2. 6 minus 2, and it is 4. So this is how we will find the load load and gross settlement and load and net settlement. Now we should draw the graph. X-axis is going to be load, x-axis is going to be load, and y-axis is going to be settlement. So this is how you draw the graph. The graph is drawn between load and gross settlement as well as load and net settlement. First, what is load and gross settlement? 0 comma 0. Next 500 comma 0.85. Next 4000 comma 1.65. Next 1500 comma 2.55. 2000 comma 3.80. 2500 comma 6. So you will get the blue curve. The blue curve is that first row and the second row. When you plot it, you'll get it. And always the soil settles in the downwards. So it is a negative axis. Negative axis. That's why you are using the negative y-axis. Okay. So load settlement, and we get this curve, blue curve, gross settlement. Now you have to plot the load versus net settlement in the same curve, the same graph. So what are the load versus net settlement? 0 comma 0, 500 comma 0.25, 100 comma 0.45, 1500 comma 1.05, 2000 comma 2, 2500 comma 4. You plot those things in the graph, you will get the red curve. The red curve is going to be net settlement. The notice, remember the settlement unit here is centimeter. That you should remember. Question la centimeter is given. That's why I'm plotting it as centimeter. Okay. Now what should you do? This find the allowable load from the graph. How to find the allowable load? I said three possibilities are there to find the allowable load. First, we will see the first possibility. What you should do is you should take the rule is the load corresponding to gross settlement of 12 mm. 12 mm na எத்தனை centimeter? How much is the centimeter for 12 mm? 1.2 centimeter. So first find out the 1.2 centimeter, and the 1.2 centimeter corresponding load is taken. For which curve you should take corresponding load? Gross load. That is gross settlement. So till gross settlement, you draw a horizontal line from 1.2 centimeter, which is 12 mm. 1.2 centimeter settlement length, you draw a horizontal line till the gross settlement curve. From அதுக்கு corresponding ஆன load is taken. அதுக்கு corresponding ஆன load is found out. How much? It is 750. It is in between 500 and 1000, so it is going to be 750. So you've got 750. So multiply the 750 by, okay, I'll show that. So what this one, second one you got no 1.2 க்கு corresponding ஆன load was in the curve, it is 750. So multiply 750 by 2 by 3, so you get 500 kilonewton, and this is going to be allowable load 1. Second, we find by another method allowable load 2. What is allowable load 2 na? In the same graph, this one you understood, the 1.2 mm, sorry, 1.2 centimeter, which is 12 mm க்கு corresponding on a load in the gross settlement curve is taken and multiply by 2 by 3. Now you should go for second method. What is second method? The settlement corresponding to the net settlement corresponding to 6 mm settlement. So 6 mm settlement is in centimeter, it is 0.6 centimeter. So 0.6 centimeters settlement corresponding to net load. Net load is this curve, red color curve. So net settlement corresponding on a load is found out, and it is something 1100 and something. So here it is 1125. So 1125 is the load corresponding to 6 mm net settlement. 6 mm is nothing but here 0.6 centimeter. 0.6 centimeter corresponding on a load is taken, and that is that is 1125. So multiply that 1125 by 2 by 3. So 1125 into 2 by 3 will give you 750. This is second method. And the third method is find the value of b by 10. What is the diameter of the pile given here? Diameter of the pile is okay, what is the diameter of the pile? In the question it is given the diameter of the pile is 12 meter. 12 meter. So 12 by 10 is going to be 12 meter now. 12 by 10 is going to be 1.2, correct? 1.2 meter. So in centimeters it is written as, sorry, not the length of the pile, diameter of the pile. What is the diameter of the pile given in the question? Sorry, the diameter of the pile is 30 centimeter. So 30 centimeter dia pile. So 30 divided by 10, what will you get? 3 centimeter. So 3 centimeter corresponding on a settlement. You should note for 3 centimeter the red color line, for 3 centimeter red color arrow, the 3 centimeter settlement in gross settlement curve. So 3 centimeter corresponding on a load is taken, and that load is multiplied by 1.1 by 2. 1 by 2. So 3 centimeter corresponding on a settlement is 1700 into 1 by 2 is 0.5. So you'll get 850 kilonewton. So we find 3 kilonewton values and we take the least of this. We take the least of this. What is the least value? 500. Adapt whichever is less. So QA is equal to 500 kilonewton. So this is how we find the allowable load. Now to find ultimate load, what should you do? Multiply the allowable load by factor of safety. You'll get the ultimate load. So directly from the graph of load settlement curve, we will find the allowable load. So three equations are there, or three methods of finding QA are there, and we will take the least value among the three. That you should remember. So three methods are there. First method is finding the load corresponding to the settlement of 12 mm, which is here it is 1.2 centimeter. So the load is going to be something like 750. So multiply the 750 by 2 by 3. That is first method. Second method is finding the allowable load is finding the load corresponding to gross settlement of 6 mm. So 6 mm is 0.6 centimeter here. So 0.6 centimeter corresponding on a gross settlement load is 1125. So multiply the 1125 by 2 by 3. You get the second value. Third method to find the allowable load is you have to find what is B by 10. What is B here? 30 centimeter. That is the diameter of the pile. So the 30 by 10 will give you 3 centimeter. So we take the net gross settlement corresponding to 3 centimeter. So the load corresponding to a gross settlement of 3 centimeter, and the load is going to be 17 one something you got, right? Multiply by 1.5. So 1700 multiplied by 0.5. So you'll get three values and you take the less of this value, and it is 500 kilonewton. So sometimes questionல வந்து இந்த மாதிரி they will not give like this two values. Settlement for loading, unloading அப்படியெல்லாம் கொடுத்துருக்க மாட்டாங்க. They'll just give load and settlement. இந்த மாதிரியும் questions will come. அந்த cases what you should treat it as, no, you should treat everything as settlement. Every in the method formulasல இப்போ gross settlement net settlement questionல கொடுக்கல அப்படின்னா then you should assume in this formula, in this methods we tell no corresponding to net settlement, corresponding to gross settlement, they are simply settlement. If only load and settlement are given directly in the question, you take everything as settlement. அந்த ஒரே curveல you should find everything for the three cases. Okay, so that you should remember. Okay, here completes the four methods for finding the load carrying capacity of the single piles. Single piles load bearing capacity. And there is a concept called negative skin friction. It is also called drag down phenomena. What is negative skin friction? What is drag down phenomena means? Now if the site is very um, 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 if the site is lower than the normal ground level, நம்ம ரோட் லெவலை விடைக்கும் நம்ம எப்போவுமே கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் பண்ணுறப்போ ஆல்வேஸ் ஆர் பில்டிங் ஷுட் பி அட் அ ஹையர் லெவல் தேன் த எக்ஸிஸ்டிங் ரோட் லெவல். ஒய்? Because if not, if rainy seasons or flood or extreme weather conditions happen, no, the water from the road will come inside the houses or the our buildings. So we should always be very careful um, whenever we construct the buildings, our road level should be greater than our house level should be greater than the existing road level. So when you do that, sometimes we may have to fill the soil. We have to fill the soil and make it level till the existing road level. So foundation போடுறதுக்கு முன்னாடி we should fill the soil. So when the site has to be filled with soil, we export the soil from some other area. We will bring in the soil from some other area and we'll fill the site. When you are doing that, and after that you'll put a pile. When you're doing that, the soil will not be very compacted. ரொம்ப compacted இருக்காது. So when you put a pile, no, what will happen? The soil will settle more than the pile. Because the soil settlement எதனால வருதுன்னா, there is a downward drag in the pile, especially when it is a fill material. There is a downward drag exerted on the pile. Downward force, instead of giving resistance from the soil, which will keep the equilibrium conditions, instead of giving a resistance, there will be a downward drag that will cause a settlement in the soil outside the pile. Pile settle ஆகாது. Pile settle ஆச்சுன்னா ஃபெயில் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னு அர்த்தம் பில்டிங்கே. So it is the pile will not settle, the soil will settle, especially if the fill material, because of the downward drag exerted by the soil in the pile. Okay, so as you see in the picture, we know that whenever load comes in the top to bottom direction downwards, we know the resistance goes upward. Then the system will be in equilibrium. So here the load is QU and the resisting load is QS and QP. They are on upward directions. But if the soil is a fill material, there will be a downward force there. Can you see there in the soft layer and the fill material? There is a downward drag there. Because of this, the soil will settle. So this will happen, and this is known as downward drag exerted by the soil on the pile is known as drag down phenomena or negative skin friction. Negative skin friction, because it goes in the other direction. Instead of giving resistance by frictional resistance, there is a negative skin friction. It will come downward. So whatever I said will be there. And because of this negative skin friction, there will be a negative force on the resistance also. So when you are finding the ultimate load, net ultimate load QU dash is equal to existing ultimate load that we find by other methods minus the load or the resistance due to the negative skin friction, which is QNSF. We should subtract the load or the resistance exerted by the or given by the negative skin friction. You have to just minus from the total allowable load. That will give you the net allowable net ultimate load. ஓகே. ஹவ் கேன் வி எலிமினேட்? இப்போ பைல்ஸ் வந்து ஃபில்ல போட்டாலே இந்த மாரி டவுன்வர்ட் ட்ராக் தான் வருமா? செட்டில்மென்ட் தான் வருமா? அப்படின்னு கேட்டா, நோ. ஆல்வேஸ் வி டோன்ட் ஹேவ் டு ஃபியர் ஆஃப் இட் வெதர் இட் இஸ் செட்டில் இன் அ ஃபில் மெட்டீரியல் ஆர் நாட். So for that what they will do is, for the pile portion is covered with some sleeves, some other materials. They are covered with some sleeves when along the length of the pile. So that sleeves will uh, protect the skin friction, protect the pile from the skin friction. So here I will so here is the negative skin friction. So always from the total ultimate load that you find, you should subtract the negative skin friction, because that will impact the total resistance in a very bad way. However, protective measures are there to protect the pile from negative skin friction. Okay, next is the group pile capacity. So 4 methods for single pile capacity over. Next we have group pile capacity, and for finding the group pile capacity we have 3 methods. We have a lot of methods, but for your syllabus it's only 3 methods, and we'll be looking at it. One is Converse-Laber formula, second is Fell's rule, and third is block failure criterion. Converse-Laber formula, Fell's rule, and block failure criterion. Here, block failure criterion is very similar to the static method. Static methods very similar it is. So most of the problems, I'll give homeworks and problems in this block failure criterion. Okay. So group action of piles. So till now we saw a single pile. Now, when the piles come together, we know that when the piles come together, we connect all the piles with a pile cap. Pile cap is something not nothing but a slab. A slab, concrete slab, which is connecting all the pile foundations. Okay, connecting all the pile foundations, so that the load from the superstructure will be transferred to the pile cap, and the pile cap will transfer it to the uh, pile foundation, and then it goes to the rock or to the sand. So this is what the load transfer mechanism in a group piles. Okay, but can we not find the single pile capacity and just multiply by the number of piles to find the group pile capacity? That is very easy, no? To find the group pile capacity, we know that there are 4 methods to find the single pile capacity. Just now we saw pile load test we can find the single pile capacity, and we also find the by penetration values. We can also find by the other values frictional resistance, tip resistance, or bearing resistance. We can just find the ultimate load by the single pile and just multiply by the number of piles. But this is not applicable, because each pile can carry different loads. Each pile can carry different intensities, or um, uh, uh, or in all the cases the efficiency of the piles will not be equal. So in all the in mostly the group pile capacity is not equal to Qu into N. Qu is the ultimate capacity of the single pile, and N is the total number of piles in a pile group. Okay, so for a pile group we should be understanding the it will act as one unit actually. When the piles are connected with the pile cap, no, the entire system will act like one unit. Okay, so for a single pile, this is the bulb, pressure bulb. Pressure bulb for a shallow foundation, Boussinesq theory you learned, no? Here for a pile foundation, you can see the bulb like a balloon. Like a balloon, it will be the pressure bulb will be. We know that because of this pressure bulb only, that pile is standing. Otherwise, if the pressure bulb get loose and no, it will collapse, or when it is disturbed, no, it will collapse, the building will collapse. So pile foundation, the single pile capacity pressure bulb is given, and for a pile group capacity, no, we know that there are single piles, and each single pile will have a pressure bulb. but actually this pressure bulbs will keep the entire unit as same. If one pile fails, the entire unit will fail. It will act like one unit. Okay, so that's why, for example, when a human body, no, when a human body, uh, uh, if you have a if you have leg pain, if you have leg pain, no, our brain நம்ம ஹார்ட் வலிக்கும், ஹார்ட் வலிக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கும், ரொம்ப சிவியர் லெக் பெயின் வச்சுக்கோங்க. ஆர் இஃப் யூ ஆர் டயக்னோஸ்ட் வித் சம் டிசீஸ், terminally disease, ill disease, then what will happen? Everything will start paining. It's because our body, though we have separate organs, they all act as one unit. Similarly, in a pile foundation, they are different, though they are different, and they have different single piles, and the single piles have different separate pressure bulbs. The total pressure bulb also exists, making the entire group of piles as one unit. So it will act as one unit. So we should remember that, um, uh, always the pile group capacity is not equal to N into Qu, and the efficiency or the working of the piles, efficiency of the pile group nu ஒரு term இருக்கு. Based on this efficiency, we will know how much the pile group is efficient to carry the load. So that is represented by the letter eta G, efficiency of the group of piles, and that is equal to pile group capacity, that is QUG, which is pile group capacity divided by N into QU. N is total number of piles in a pile group, into QU is the ultimate load of the single pile. So remember this formula. So QUG is the ultimate load of the pile group, QU is ultimate load of the individual pile, and N is total number of piles in a pile group. Or இது வந்து in simple terms, in other terms, if you say no, you can tell that it is the ratio of average load per pile in a group at which the failure occurs to the ultimate load of the comparable single pile, which means, what is QUG by N? Can I tell among the total piles what is the ultimate load? That is what it is explained as average load per pile in the group at which the failure occurs to the QU. What is QU? QU is ultimate load per pile, single pile. So single pile capacities. The definition is, two definitions are given for efficiency of a pile group. You please remember the formula for efficiency of pile group. Okay, so as I said, we have three methods. One is converse Laber formula, second is Fell's rule, and third is block failure criterion. So we will start from converse